What is up, and welcome back to another episode of Blood and Beer, the show where we talk blood sport and we drink beer. I'm your host, Matt, and as always, we got some MMA to talk. Actually, today, all we got to talk is MMA. We got PFL. It's a special PFL episode for their championship coming up, and they just recently acquired Bellator. They finalized the deal. We're going to get into that, what that means, and we're going to break down the finals, the championships, and some of the most exciting fights on this pay-per-view that they got coming up this weekend on Friday. First, the beer that we're sipping on today. It's Juice to Jupiter Tangerine IPA. It's by Fatheads Brewing Company. We'll give it a shot, see how it is. I'm not too sure about tangerines. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty damn good. That's pretty damn good. All right, as I said, we got the PFL championships coming up, though. Got a stacked card ahead of us, some big matchups, some non-championships matchups that are pretty big, and then 5 or 6. I want to say 5, no, 6 championship fights for $1 million, and we'll break those down, give you a look ahead what we're going to see in these fights, what these guys have done in this season to get to where they're at. Starting off, we got a grudge match on the prelims. We got Bubba Wallace versus Chris Wade. These guys have already fought twice. Both their fights went to decision. One went to Wade, one went to Wallace, both unanimous. These guys are really similar in the fact that they've both been in the PFL finals. They're both strong wrestlers with pretty good striking. They're not quite there yet in the striking, but they're not bad. They can get knockouts if they need to, and they don't fucking like each other. These guys, I think they don't like each other because they're so similar. Just strong wrestlers, great cardio, and they're just kind of stuck right below the top tier in the PFL right now. But that'll be a fun fight. I think that we're going to see them go all out to just finally decide who's the best in this rubber match. And then the next fight I want to talk about, making his PFL debut, Derek Brunson. He's taking on Broda Ray Cooper III, two-time PFL champion. It's going to be a fun fight. I love when you bring someone into a new promotion and you don't feed them just scrubs for a little bit to let them build their name up and let the promotion keep showing their highlights. They're putting them against their top guy or one of their top guys in Ray Cooper, two-time champion. He's coming off a bad season last year where he missed weight in his first fight and lost the fight. Bounced back and got a 24-second knockout, but didn't fight at all this year. His only fight's going to be against Derek Brunson on this championship pay-per-view, and it's just a 3-round fight. See who's the best. See, Derek Brunson still got it. He's got great wrestling and good ground and pound, really good top control. Or is Ray Cooper's power going to carry over and just sleep him? Because Brunson has been chinny in the past, and Ray Cooper throws bombs. So that's going to be a fun one as well. It's really just going to be who can implement their game plan. Cooper just needs to hope one of the bombs hit. If Derek Brunson can close the distance, get the body lock, get the trip, and ride out some ground control, get the ground and pound, maybe a rear naked choke finish, I could see that happening as well. But that's going to be a fun fight. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm a little sick. The allergies, the sinuses, it's that time of year. It sucks. The last fight we have that is not championship that I'm really excited about, though. It's Aspen Ladd, former UFC fighter. She's taking on the 3-time PFL champion Kayla Harrison. This is at catchweight 150, and Harrison, she didn't fight in the tournament this year. She took a whole year off after her unanimous decision loss to Larissa Pacheco in the championship last year. It was her first loss in her entire MMA career, and she really did get dominated the whole fight. Pacheco just had her, but that being said, Harrison's a freak of nature. She's super strong. Her sambo is just untouched. She's a gold medalist, I think, a couple times over. So I think in this fight, while Aspen Ladd's very well-rounded, and she's got the experience having been in the UFC, fought the best of the best, now she's moved kind of down to PFL, I still think that we're going to see Kayla Harrison be pretty dominant, probably an early stoppage. She usually does the old Ronda Rousey technique where she gets an early takedown and an armbar. That's kind of her go-to. I could see that happening, but if it's not an armbar, I still think her wrestling is going to play dividends, and it's going to be too much for Aspen Ladd. So odds are probably going to be like plus 350 for Ladd, minus 450 for Harrison, something like that. Not really worth putting your money on, but if you're putting your money on someone, don't think the dog's hitting, because it's not. But in the championship fights, first one we got, it's the 145-pound, the featherweight championship. Jesus Pineda versus Gabriel Braga, sorry. These guys have already fought earlier this season, and it was a fucking war, just straight up strike fest. These guys beat the shit out of each other for 3 rounds. Braga, he had really good leg kicks to just chop Pineda down, really affect his movement. But Pineda was really catching him with some good hooks, check hooks, straight rights. So this is going to be a fun fight. I think we're going to see more of the same. If anything, they're going to be more fired up than last time. They both know what the other can bring. They know they can take the other's shot. I think we're going to see a firefight, and I think it's going to end early. So I can't wait for this one. That's a 145-pound championship and $1 million on the line. The next $1 million fight we got, Impa Kasaganai, another UFC vet. He's taking on Josh Silveira, and this is going to be a quick fight, I'm telling you. It's going to be round 1. I almost have no doubts about it. Kasaganai, he fought at welterweight, he fought at middleweight in the UFC, so he's up 2 divisions. This is for the light heavyweight championship. And since coming to PFL, last year he had a knockout in his one exhibition fight. This year he's got a knockout, submission, and a decision win to get to the finals. And they were brutal. I mean, his knockout over Martin, or he's got 2 knockouts and a submission actually, but his knockout of Martin Hamlet, filthy, brutal. Semifinals, sends him, punches the ticket to this. He's taking on ultra aggressive, ultra athletic Josh Silveira. Dude's super skilled, and he's got 2 knockouts as well. Or he's got 3 first-round finishes in a row to get to this point in the season. He's got 2 knockouts and a submission, I think, or 2 knockouts and an injury. I forget exactly, but it's going to be fun. They're going to come out. Kasaganai's got special power. Silveira's just got a dog in him. I could see Silveira going out and just bum rushing him, finding a good shot, finishing the fight early. But Kasaganai, he needs one shot to finish it early too. Just special power. So whatever happens, it's going to be a fun fight. It's going to be a short fight too, I'm telling you. And it really says something for Kasaganai. If you remember one of the most iconic knockouts in UFC history, where Joaquin Buckley hit a spinning mule kick and the guy went and fell backwards, a little delayed, that was him. So to come back, he's on a 5-fight win streak. He's been tearing up the PFL and fighting 2 weight classes up, having the power carry that well. It's pretty impressive. So I'm excited to see how that one turns out. So that's the second championship fight for $1 million at 205 pounds. And then we have the welterweights. We have Sabadou Sai, defending champion. He's taking on former PFL champion Magomed Karamov. And Magomed Karamov's been a boogeyman for the PFL. Last year he didn't get to the finals. He didn't get to the playoffs because of COVID. He couldn't get over here. Visa issues, whatnot. This year he came in, 2 knockouts. I mean, he's been starching dudes. Sabadou Sai, he started the season out starching dudes too. He got a spinning back kick knockout and then knees to the body. Both these guys are really hitting their prime. They're really in their stride. It's a matchup. It's a stylistic matchup. We got the striker in Sai. He's got world-class kickboxing. Magomed Karamov, Dagestani, wrestling, Sambo, you name it, he's got it. But his striking's really evolved. I don't think he's going to be able to stand up with Sabadou. So the key for Magomed Karamov is keep him on his back foot, keep in his face, don't let him get space to throw those kicks. And Sabadou Sai just needs to stay on his bike, throw those kicks, keep him at range. It's going to be fun to see who gets that game plan implemented, how it turns out. But that's for $1 million at 170 pounds. Someone's going to be a 2-time PFL champion. And then in the heavyweight division, we got Denis Goltsov, another Russian wrestler. He's taking on Renan Fiera, and I don't see this one going long either. Now, we got Goltsov, super experienced. He's a wrestler, great sambo, but now he's starting to get some knockouts. He's got a lot of power there. I think he's got like 40 fights or so, but he's got 2 knockouts in this season and then a submission in his semifinals to get to the championship. He's taking on Renan Fiera. Dude's a power puncher. He can put your lights out at any minute. Big striker. He's not going to be able to. I don't think he's going to be able to stop Goltsov on the ground, but He just needs to land that one shot on the entrance. Lights out. It's going to be fun to see how it goes, but if Goltsov gets it to the ground, I see him winning pretty easily in this one. All right. And then finally, we're going to skip over Larissa Pacheco because PFL women's division is pretty weak, 155 pounds. There's not a 155-pound division in any other women's MMA that's notable, so we're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into a 155-pound division where people are fighting 20 pounds, 30 pounds more than their natural weight. But final fight that I'm looking forward to, the lightweight championship, Olivier Aubin-Mercier. He's taking on Clay Collard. These dudes, two staples of the PFL. Mercer, dude's a fucking beast. He's got lightning fast kicks, great striking. His wrestling's there. He's got great submission game. He's always working. He reminds me of Rory McDonald when he came to the UFC. Just this guy that's got it all. He can do everything. On the flip side, we got Clay Collard. Dude's a warrior. He's a boxer. He's a MMA fighter. He's a whatever you want him to do, he's going to fight it. But his style, he's got a real boxing-heavy approach. He plods forward. He takes your shots. Good head movement. And he's going to throw short strikes, start catching you. He'll wear you down. He's got a great gas tank. This is going to be a fun fight. I have no idea how it's going to turn out. But if Collard can make it dirty, turn it into a slugfest, get him to fight him in the phone booth, I see Collard getting him out of there in the second or third round just by using his pressure, using his relentless, always moving forward fight style. Mercer's a beast, though, and he's a different skill level than anybody I've seen at lightweight in the PFL so far. I can't wait for that one either. That's the main event. This is all happening this Friday on pay-per-view, ESPN. I think it's $50. A little steep for PFL, but I am excited for this card. If it didn't cost so damn much, I'd be telling everybody to buy it. But goddamn, $50, $50 for something that not a lot of people are following is a little crazy to me. But that's what we got for the fights. Now, PFL also announced that they've been teasing it or saying that it's been finalized, but they just announced that they have finally, it's done deal, they own Bellator. They got it. Bellator is going to operate separately for the next year or so. Next year, though, both promotions are planning on a super card. I'm hoping it's a night of champions. We got the champions versus champions to make a unified championship between Bellator and PFL. But what that means, what we know that means, with them finalizing this acquisition, PFL says the Bellator fighters are now all going to be available for all PFL cards if they need them. We're likely going to see a lot more PFL cards because they have just a bigger roster, a better roster, something more people are going to want to see. And for the Bellator fighters, this is great because they've been buried by Showtime. It's been horrible what Showtime has done since getting this Bellator deal. They sign it, and it seemed like Showtime was, yep, we're back in MMA, just like it was with Strikeforce. We're back. They didn't advertise this shit. They didn't put it on advertisements for even Showtime shows that Bellator is coming up. You go to the Showtime app, it's fucking hard to find the Bellator shit. And then, I mean, it's an unwatchable product after it's aired. Sometimes it's months before they put it on demand. Sometimes it's weeks. But they never put it on fight by fight. It's always the whole fucking card. Showtime's app sucks ass. You can't fast forward to the fight you want. You can't fast forward and see where you're at when you're dragging your finger on your phone or your computer. It's just a black screen because they don't fucking do that. So you gotta hope that you're dragging to the right fucking point to find the right fight that you want to see because you don't want to watch the whole card. It just pisses me off what Showtime did to them. Pisses me off what Showtime has done to combat sports in general. I'm glad they're getting out of it. Fuck Showtime. They've ruined it. They fucked themselves out of it. They did Bellator dirty because Bellator seemed like it was really on the rise there when it was with CBS, when it was on YouTube, when eyeballs can see it, that's when you want it. Nobody's paying the Showtime fans are likely not watching Bellator, and Bellator fans don't want to pay $10 a month for a card maybe once a month, and 1 out of every 3 is worth watching just because it's gone down. The product's gone down since going to Showtime because nobody wants to go there. There's no window of opportunity. Sponsors aren't seeing you. Fans aren't seeing you. Only fucking diehards are going to find out who you are if you're fighting for Bellator right now. So I can't wait for them to get the opportunity they need. It's going to be a great roster that the two will be able to put together as well. You trim some of the fat, you get the best of the best. The cream rises to the top. We get to see AJ McKee, Olivia AUBIN-MERICER. We might see a bigger PFL regular season, a larger tournament pool. Bellator's already been doing that with their Grand Prix, so it's not going to be too out of this realm. I can't wait to see what happens with this. It's not going to be taken away from the UFC. It's not going to even put a dent in their numbers, but it's going to be something. It's going to be fun to watch, and it's going to be a lot of competition in this new fight league once they get it all consolidated. I can't wait to see how it's going to turn out. But that's all I got for you today. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being with me through these past 61 episodes. And let me know what you think of these fights, or what you think is going to happen with these fights and with PFL and Bellator's acquisition. Thank you for tuning in. This has been Matt with Blood and Beer.